SoFi Technologies has been trying to get their credit card business to be profitable for the longest time now. And it's really odd because when you look at other financial banks, other financial institutions, it seems like, wait, the credit card business is basically a cash cow. It seems like it brings in so much revenue. How is it that SoFi is struggling with creating a profitable credit card business? Are they just incompetent? I'm going to explain why I think that SoFi will never have a credit card business as profitable or as lucrative as other banks, and why I think that this exact problem is what makes SoFi so unique and why I'm so bullish on the company. This video is going to be on SoFi Technologies, ticker symbol SOFI, and I'm going to go over my thoughts and kind of explain why I think that SoFi's difficulty with creating a profitable credit card business is the exact reason why I'm so bullish on the company. So, credit cards, right? We all know credit cards. They're basically like the siren from the stories of from the Odyssey, right? Where they attract you with all these perks. You get these 3% cash back, 5% cash back. You get all these points. You get these mileage points or whatever. But when you use it, right? If the wrong person uses it, which is the majority of people, you get hit with those 20%, 25%, 30%, 35% APR, and you get completely hosed with how much interest they're charging you. And I think that that's exactly one of the reasons why these other banks, these other financial institutions are doing so well, because they basically they don't care about their customer. They just want to rinse and hose their customers of as much money as they can, right? They don't care about the customer. Now, I think that that's different with SoFi because for multiple reasons. Because SoFi's entire business model is get your money right? It's the same exact reason why they don't have event contracts and they don't have sports gambling and sports betting and all those things, because they actually care about their customer. They want their customer to get their money right. And it's because SoFi actually wants their customers to succeed in life, to actually get their money right, that they're having such a hard time with their credit card business, right? They even said in a previous earnings call, I think this was Q3, so this was last earnings call, Q3 of 2025, where I forget if it was Noto or if it was Lapointe who mentioned that their personal loan business is doing so well. Yeah, they have other financial competitors, but the financial banks, the big banks, aren't competing with them because this personal loan, this loan consolidating business is it cannibalizes their credit card business, because when you can instantly basically just change from your credit card business, which is raking in 25, 30, 35% interest rates, and you can just shift that into a lower interest rate loan, 8%, 9%, 10%, then why would any company do that if you're eating away profits from your credit card business? But SoFi isn't like that. SoFi isn't doing that, because if you could instantly just shift your high interest rate debt from credit cards or whatever and shift that into a lower interest rate personal loan, then of course you do that instantly, right? You're saving what, 20%, sometimes like 22% instantly, going from like a 36% that I've seen. I think the highest I saw was a 36% interest rate on a card to now an 8%. Who wouldn't do that, right? And a bank would obviously not want to eat away at their own business. So of course, when SoFi has this personal loan business and they create this credit card, it would be difficult for this credit card business to be profitable when they can just shift. First of all, you're giving perks on the credit card, and then any interest rate profits that you might get from taking in on interest, people can just shift that into a lower interest rate loan. So of course the credit card's not going to do as well. I mean, they get their interchange fees and all those things, which it can be profitable. It can be it can be a lot of cash flow, but will it be as lucrative as the crazy credit card companies that are just taking arm and a leg from you? I don't think so. Now, the other thing that SoFi has that goes against basically their credit card business altogether is their core demographic. Who is SoFi's core demographic? I've said this multiple times. It's the Henrys of the world, the high earners, not rich yet. Now, because you're a high earner, right? First of all, you're more stable. And secondly, because you have a higher income than most people, you're most likely gonna pay off those debts immediately, right? So even if you didn't have this personal loan business and you weren't cannibalizing your credit card business, well, these people probably wouldn't these people probably wouldn't be they wouldn't have that high of a balance in their on their credit card to begin with, because they're usually probably going to be more responsible if they're high earners, and if they're not responsible, they could pay it off within like a paycheck, right? They can make enough money to cover their debts. So their demographic isn't even going to be the type of people that have these ridiculous balances and these constant overdrafts and all these constant like whatever, like these constant fees that are stacking up on their credit card. Okay, so I just gave a bunch of reasons why I think their credit card business is gonna not be as good or even suck compared to their competitors. So why are you bullish? Why am I bullish even though I just said all these things? Well, let's talk about the Henrys first. If your core demographic is people who are more likely to pay off their debts, if something bad happens, right? Don't you think that SoFi is the piggy that built its house out of bricks, right? They're not holding on to these crazy loans. They don't have to have these crazy provisions for credit losses, because like the demographic of people of their customers is the same demographic of people that pay off their loans and the people that are more stable when shit hits the fan, right? So if you are forecasting any potential economic downturn, I think that SoFi is one of the more stable, even though you hear all these news articles of people saying, oh, personal loans are bad, they're whatever, right? I feel like in this environment, SoFi is a flight to safety play in case shit does hit the fan. Now let's talk about what I said before about how SoFi's actually following their motto, get your money right? They don't want to charge the customer. They don't want to charge their customers, their SoFi Plus members or their SoFi members, those outrageous interest rates, the 25, 30, 35% interest rates, because they actually care about the customer. Now, I think that this is the long game that SoFi is playing, because when you screw over your customers, when that customer, they're only with you because either they don't know that a better alternative exists, or that's honestly all they can think of, right? They don't know that a better alternative exists, so they think that they're just stuck with you. But the moment they find out that there's a better alternative, the moment they find out that they can go to this other place, they can consolidate their loans, they don't have to pay those outrageous interest rates, then they're gonna jump ship immediately, right? Now, I want to recount an experience of US Bank, right? I just had this really bad experience at US Bank, and I will never bank with them again, right? Because they screwed me over once. And I feel like any customer, right, when they notice all the money that they're paying, and they're only paying for interest, right? They're not even paying down the credit card debt or whatever. Those people have they just slowly start building this hatred for that institution, for that bank. And I think that that's what you get when you just like throw your customers through the ringer. That's what happens. They don't like your bank or your institution, and they'll jump ship as soon as they can. But if you treat your customers well, right? You look at Costco, you look at what I'm saying now, SoFi, right? If you treat your customers well, they want to give you business because they think that they're actually benefiting from you, right? It's a two-way streak where both sides win. Unlike this other like the previous model where the bank just screws over the little man altogether, right? Where they just like rug pull you, or they just automatically cancel your loan and you go bankrupt, right? When that happens, customers will never go to your business, like they'll never do business with you again. And I think that that's the one thing that SoFi wants to prevent. And I think that that's one of the most bullish things you can have, right? Because I think that in a business, the most valuable asset you can have is the trust of your customers. Because without trust, if no one believes you, if no one wants to do business with you, and they're only doing business with you because they have to, the moment there's an alternative, the moment there's a competitor, you lost that business forever. Like, they don't want to do business with you, right? Once bitten, twice shy. That's the thing. And lastly, I think that SoFi has the proper guardrails to prevent, like they let your customers, they treat their customers well, and they let them do a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things in the SoFi ecosystem, but they also have those proper guardrails, or they don't let their customers do whatever they want, right? They don't, for example, there's one particular company you can give your customer a bomb, right? And maybe if they explode it in the right time, in the right place, at the right force, they'll land on the moon. They'll make a bajillion dollars. But let's be honest, odds are most people, when they're given that bomb, they're just gonna blow up to smithereens. I think that SoFi, in struggling with creating a profitable business model, really does show that SoFi does have the customer's best interest at heart. And also, by not offering those things that could be are actually just gambling, are detrimental to a customer, to their financial health, the gambling, the events contracts, the sports betting, they're basically maintaining their customers' wealth. Yes, would SoFi make a lot of money if they offered those events contracts and those things? Of course. But there's only so many people, there's only so much of a market. You can say that yes, the market is big, but the market is still limited. It's a constant, right? It's not infinite. And if you if you blow up enough customers, you're going to run out of customers. But if you actually do care about the customer, and the customer does slowly and steadily increase wealth, increase net worth, right? Where do you think that money is going? It's going back into SoFi. So honestly, I think that SoFi has a very sustainable model and a very attractive model because the customers want it. The customers grow while on the platform, and then that money, once they've obtained it, goes back into SoFi because they want to do business with a business that has been treating them well, with a business that has helped them grow financially. So that is exactly why I think that SoFi's struggling credit card business, which I think that they will get down eventually, right, through interchange fees and all those things. I think that's why I think that the fact that they're struggling with their credit card business and the fact that they're not including products that would basically that have the high potential of financially ruining their customers is one of the reasons, or are the reasons why I'm so bullish on the company. So this is ticker symbol SOFI, super bullish. Have a good day. Bye.